Silver! The first show that we're talking about this precious metal that also has industrial purposes and is highly focused on within this nation. This group of influencers that you follow has a heart that loves silver. And there's some spiritual reasons why. Good morning and welcome to the Shielded Prepper. This channel is committed to information that expands a prepared mind. The Silver Symposium is now in Vegas in 2023. I have been invited to attend. I am excited to go. It's the end of September, September 30th through October 1st. It will be at the Caesar's Palace. There is going to be a powerhouse group of speakers. It will be the biggest and best symposium that's ever been put on. And thank you, Ninja. Thank you, Stock Pulse. Thank you, Patrick. You know who I'm talking about, for the invitation. And I'm going to be there, and I would love to meet you in person. And many of you I've had an opportunity to talk to mostly through the comments within this stream. So if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do. Give it a like, and let's comment and tell me the one thing you love most about silver. What do we got here? I'm holding the Cougar hand right now, and this is a special metal. It is very special, and for those that watch this, you've been receiving education over years, specifically from the Economic Ninja, from Financial Prepper, Chris Taylor, and many other, Dan I allegedly. These are influencers that love to talk about precious metals and the value for us to be able to retain our wealth and to avoid inflation and the trap that it really is. And how I intend on talking about it is biblically. May I? This is a prep for our house, maybe a prep for your house. And Scripture talks about silver in a couple different places. Yet specifically, we're going to focus on Jesus, Yeshua, the Son of God, God came in man's body and lived here. And the significance of silver connected to Jesus. He was betrayed. And we're going to talk about this. Many of you know about this, and for those of you that don't, it's a great story. It's a great piece of history, and it's an awesome way for you to open your eyes and understand how precious this metal is. I can't even get it focused. Where is it? Whatever. 30 pieces of silver. When they refer to pieces of silver in Scripture, they're speaking about a shekel, which is less than half an ounce. So keep that in mind, 0.4 of an ounce in today's terms. 30 pieces of silver are recorded in Matthew 26, 14 through 16. Then one of the 12, we know who this is. They don't even call him out right now. This was the Judas Iscariot. The one called Judas Iscariot went to the chief priests and asked, "What are you willing to give me if I deliver him over to you?" Jesus, Yeshua. So they counted out to him 30 pieces of silver, 30 shekels. From then on, Judas watched for an opportunity to hand him over. I'm going to give you an idea of what 30 pieces of silver looks like. 30 shekels of silver. That's it. That's it. That's all. This is what Jesus' life was worth. That's what they was worth. And they talk about it. 14 ounces of silver. A little less, actually. The 30 pieces of silver have a great deal of significance, though it is easy to overlook this passage in Scripture. As told to us in Matthew, Judas betrays Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. During New Testament times and within Hebrew culture, 30 pieces of silver was not a large amount of money. It's not a large amount of money today. It's not. $400-ish. I mean, maybe if you include high premiums, roughly right now, $30. It's less than that. 30 pieces of silver was the amount required for a person to pay a master if one of their slaves, male or female, was gored by an ox of another. They would be required, the owner of that oxen would have to pay that master, I'm just reading what's in here, 30 pieces of silver or $400. Not a large sum of money. And the more painful part was the ox must be stoned to death. That's how they handled these things. So silver has been used as an exchange of value. If Jesus was only worth 14 ounces of silver, why is it so significant that we're focusing on it? The value of silver is stretched, or it's been squeezed so low. It is so low right now. If you're paying less than $50 an ounce, I think that this is a great deal. Truth be told, I'm not purchasing any right now. I'm waiting for it to come down, and we're looking at that now. Yet silver will have its day. It has been held down, and I listened to a YouTuber talking. Boy, I can't remember. It may have been Kiyosaki. Gall, if you know who this is, put it in the comments. I'd like to jog my memory. And they were referring back to a study that they conducted, looking at 1980 to present. And in 1980 was kind of the last time that the American worker has received an authentic pay raise that was far greater than inflation and the costs of commerce and such. And they went through and they said, what is less expensive today than it was in 1980? They only found one thing. Silver. That's it. It's less today than it was then. As far as value of ratio-wise of what our money is valued at today. This is important for us to recognize that gold is roughly 10x'd. Vehicles have 10x'd. Home prices since then have probably more than 10x'd. Food prices, restaurants, fuel, all of these different things that allow us, these commodities that allow us to come and go and to live a comfortable life, and energy. And silver, for some reason, hasn't received its day. It is highly consumed. It is necessary for so much of the green weenies movement, EV, and I'm not against solar and wind, and I'm not. I think it's actually a really cool innovation. I just don't like the fact that they're shoving it down our throats at times. And silver is primary for technology and microchips and electricity at high voltage. It's the best. It's the best. I've done a ton of reading on this stuff, and I have to be honest, I am new to the silver game. Part of the reason why I'm attending the Silver Symposium in Las Vegas, September 30th through October 1st, and you should come. Wouldn't that be fun to see each other? I'd love to meet you. If you can come, put it in the comments. I'm going to include a link down below for a 10% off opportunity for you to join us. If you can make it, that would be great. If not, I understand. We have to kind of pick and choose what we do at times, and there's a lot going on in our world. And if you can make it, would be so cool to be able to shake your hand and introduce myself to you. Today is a great day. It's beautiful outside, and it's almost warm enough every morning for me not to have to wear a vest. And I like to wear my vest. Everybody, this message has more to do with the opportunity to encourage you that Jesus was identified and connected to Scripture through silver. And it had been spoken about prophetically in years past. Exodus and Zechariah specifically refer to 30 pieces of silver, or 30 shekels, or 0.4 ounces, or about 14 ounces of silver. This was a prophetic, what's the word I'm looking for? This prophecy came true with Jesus Christ being sold for 30 pieces of silver. And Judas carried that out. If you know the story, Judas was the CEO of the disciples. He carried the money bag and he would pinch from it. Scripture talks about it in John. Today, I encourage you that we must ensure that we're looking at bigger and better things and how silver can play a part in our lives. And if you don't own any, it's not that difficult to acquire some. A little change in our budgets, a little shifting of how we spend discretionary income can land a coin in your pocket. Very simply. Very simply. And as you start to acquire these coins, there's something about putting these two together. These are an awesome piece of preparatory holdings to ensure that your wealth stays connected as inflation rises. This is not an investment. I consider it a hedge. I've tried to justify it as an investment, and I can't. I just intend on holding it so that we can preserve our wealth as inflation rises. Today, I bless you guys. Hopefully you received something about the significance of silver. I'm going to include the article that I read from today, if you desire to read it, in the description below, as well as the 10% off to come join us end of September, beginning of October at the Silver Symposium in Las Vegas. Excited to see you there potentially. Have a great day, guys. The Shielded Prepper is out. Give it a like. Put it in the description. Talk to you later.